Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for another video today, and welcome to the daily news roundup video. We're going to be going over all the news from the day, and there is quite a lot to bring you, and it's not just about transfers, not just about Coutinho, because it seems like that is all that's been going on for the past few days. No, there's a lot more that's happened today. Things from Lionel Messi, a bit of news on him, and some also very interesting information that he gave in an interview with the media this week. There's some news on the return of Ousmane Dembele. A Barcelona legend has retired from the game today. Some news on our youth, and also a possible exit from the Camp Nou this summer that is not Arda Turan. So there's quite a lot to discuss, quite a lot of news to get through, and we are going to start, of course, with the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi. And the first bit of news on Lionel Messi relates to him actually returning to Barcelona. He was actually scheduled to get back tomorrow along with Suarez and Mascherano, who were given a bit longer holiday than the rest of the guys. The rest of the team were in training at the very end of December. The three South Americans all got a bit of extra time off, but they have all arrived back one day earlier than scheduled. So that's really, really good to see. Good dedication from all of them. Messi back in training today, as you can see here, some pictures of him in the training session. And he did give a very, very interesting interview this week about his personal life. And it really isn't that often that you sort of get Messi in the media talking about himself. He's not one that likes the headlines. He's not one that really likes to delve into the public eye and sort of be in the headlines and in the spotlight all of the time. He's somebody that's a very personal guy, and that's one of the great things about him. You know, he is the greatest of all time. He's somebody who we all admire and all absolutely adore, but he does like to stay out of the limelight. And in the interview, he spoke about being a parent, how that's changed his life, how his everyday life has very much changed since he's had children. He spoke about the joy of being a parent and obviously being married as well now. He spoke very interestingly about his love for chocolate and how difficult it is to actually keep that at bay while he's still playing, obviously, Lionel Messi, on quite a strict diet. And he also spoke about being a coach in the future, and he did say that he doesn't expect himself to go down that road once he is finished playing. We obviously don't want that day to come when he does eventually hang up his boots, but when he does, he said that right now he feels like he wouldn't go on and become a coach, but he did say a lot can change in the future. Maybe he would change his mind, but he doesn't think right now he'll go down that avenue. I think he's going to be one of those guys, like we're going to see in a minute, when he retires, he just wants a break from the game, he wants to spend time with his family, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Messi go down that road as well. He spoke about things in his game that he wants to improve. Obviously, Messi being Messi does not have an awful lot to improve on at all, but one of the things that he highlighted was penalty kicks. He specifically said about penalties that I can improve that area of my game, and he did say that he did really want to practice them. And obviously, I would have thought, with the World Cup in mind, that obviously some very big games coming up in 2018, if it comes down to a penalty kick, Lionel Messi will want to bury it. But of course, he did that against Real Madrid, and when he steps up to the spot 9 times out of 10, in the big games, in the big moments, you will fancy him. But I just thought that would be very interesting to bring you guys. For those of you that didn't see the interview, it's very interesting, and just some of the things that he did speak about. But on to Ousmane Dembele now. There's some very, very good news on his fitness, on his return. We're obviously all anxiously awaiting his return to the field, and today he officially received the medical green light, and that was an official announcement from the club, from their medical team. He has officially now received that green light. He is ready to go, ready to play, and fully fit once again after his injury layoff, and that is massive news. Mundo Deportivo actually broke this story a few days ago. They said that he would get this green light. It is great to see that he has officially got it now. That's what we all wanted. Our minds are at ease. We know that his recovery has gone to plan, and he will now return in the coming days. Whether or not he will be involved and in the squad against Celta, some of the Spanish media believe that he will be included in that squad and he might get a few minutes. Others believe that maybe he'll wait until the Levante game at home at the Camp Nou. That is coming up this weekend. But either way, in the next few days, in the next few weeks, we will certainly be seeing Ousmane Dembele back on the pitch as a Barcelona player, and we are all very, very excited for that moment. Also in training today were Carlos Alenia and Jose Arnaiz. Now, earlier on this week, I did also explain they were in training. They were training with the first team, and it did look as though possibly they would be involved in that away game in the Copa del Rey against Celta Vigo. And since then, they've been continuously training with the first team, and that is really excellent to see. Valverde trusting in the youngsters, training with the first team, and it is now widely expected that they will play in that Copa del Rey match, and that is massive, massive news. A difficult game against Celta, away from home, is not going to be easy. If those two are involved, that'll be massive experience for them, massive trust placed in them by Valverde, and I think that'll be a massive, massive positive. Starting 2018 in the perfect way with these two young players, very, very promising. They've been with the first team, and we should see them in the squad for that Celta Vigo game, and that'll be a great moment too. And at the start of the video, I did mention that a Barcelona legend has retired from the game of football, and I'm sure you've all heard about it as well. Victor Valdes has officially hung up his gloves for good. He will not play any part now in the future. He has retired from football. 530 appearances he made for Barcelona, and he was a legend in every sense of the word. That word now is thrown around these days. A lot of people get branded it, but Valdes really was a Barcelona legend. I think he's one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the world ever. He never really got fully appreciated by fans outside of Barcelona. He was key to our goal. He was key to our system. He was fantastic for the club. He always thrived under the big pressure in the big moments. Obviously, looking back at that Champions League final in 2006, he was the undisputed hero in that game, and again, never really appreciated. In his time with the club, 3 Champions League wins, 6 La Liga titles, 3 Copa del Rey, 6 Spanish Super Cups, 3 Club World Cups, and 1 UEFA Super Cup. And he really was a fantastic, fantastic player, and sadly, I was actually there at the Camp Nou for his last ever game. It was an injury against Celta Vigo in the league. He went down, obviously he did his ligaments in his knee, and it was a horrifying moment because when he went down, I distinctly remember, even to this day, the person next to me, Spanish, but he spoke in English, he said, "We will never see Valdes in a Barca shirt again." And I was there thinking, no, he'll get back to fitness, but obviously he never did. He left at the end of that season, and we never again saw him in a Barcelona shirt. But when he was in that Barca shirt, he really was an incredible player, and I wish him all the very best in his retirement because he's actually deleted all of his social media. He apparently now wants a quiet life away from the game, and like I said, Messi, I think, in the future might go down that similar sort of road. He's a player that didn't like the headlines, didn't like the spotlight. He just wants to relax now with his family. He's done a brilliant service to the club, to the game of football, and now he has retired, and I wish him all the very best. And of course, there is only so much news you can get through before you eventually stumble across the Coutinho situation, and I do have quite a lot of news on that front. And what I will say first of all is, during the summer transfer window, back in the summer, all the way through that window, I felt like Coutinho was never ever going to happen, and there was a simple reason for that. Liverpool was so absolutely determined to hang on to him. Their owners put out a statement. Jurgen Klopp was resolute. The player was never going to leave. They were absolutely adamant he would not leave, not for any price. Liverpool, very firm indeed. But that for me now, in this January transfer window and in 2018 in general, I think the whole stance of Liverpool has completely changed. I think right now they are open to selling, and that is exactly what the reports are saying, both in England and in Spain right now. The opinion of Liverpool and the stance of Liverpool has definitely changed. Right now, the player believes Coutinho, who has wanted out all this time, he wants to go to Barcelona. That's his dream. That's what he wants to do, and he'll do everything in his power to make that happen. Liverpool right now are thinking about it. They are willing to let him go in January if the right offer arrives from Barcelona. They want around 150 million euros. Whether there's any variables on top of that remains to be seen, but they want that money. They want that bid to come in. If it does, they will seriously consider letting him go. Reports in England say that Coutinho feels he's played his last game for the club. He was not involved against Burnley. Liverpool have got another game in just a few days' time, and it's going to be really interesting to see whether Coutinho is in that squad as well. But right now, the opinion in England and in Spain is that a deal is getting closer and closer and closer. Now, I know we've heard that a lot of the time from Spain. Spain have always believed that Coutinho is on his way, even in the summer. But even then, the English press were resolute. They said Liverpool did not want to sell. Back in the summer, they never felt it was on the cards. But right now, England and Spanish media, they're all in unison. Liverpool are open to selling finally. Barcelona obviously interested. The player wants to go. If the right offer arrives, if we pay the money for Coutinho, we will have him in January, and Liverpool will let him go. And that is the general opinion right now of everybody connected with the Coutinho story. So that is going to be very interesting in the coming days and weeks with regard to this Coutinho saga. When will it end, and exactly how will it end? And the final story I do have for you today is regard to a possible player sale. Now, I personally don't think this one is going to happen, but Mundo Deportivo are very sure. They say that Valencia have got a very firm interest in Rafinha, and the player right now is assessing his options. He wants to play. He wants to play in 2018 in the next few months. Obviously, he wants to try and go to the World Cup with Brazil if possible, but I think we got actually a chance of using Rafinha. I think he's a versatile player. He can play through the middle, he can play wide, he can give Valverde a number of options in our squad. I just think basically if we're going to look to sell a player, there should be players going out the door before Rafinha. Obviously, he's a player that does have interest from other clubs. Valencia are interested, Celta Vigo as well, potentially some Premier League clubs are interested in him as well, according to Mundo Deportivo. But I just think when he's fit, Rafinha is of the quality to possibly become a squad player at Barcelona, to be used in our squad. He does have potential. There should be players like Arda Turan possibly Delafay or Alex Vidal, who should maybe be leaving the club before him. Even Andre Gomez, of course, we could get a lot of money for him potentially if we sell him to the right club. Maybe they should be leaving the club before Rafinha does, because I think he has quality in the right way. If he's used, if he's fit, he could definitely give us something. But obviously, ahead of the World Cup, he does want playing time as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how exactly that one plays out. But that's basically the day's news for you guys. Obviously, some interesting things with Messi. Great news on Dembele with the green light. Victor Valdes retiring. All our very best goes to him. Our ninth Analena in training with a view to playing against Celta Vigo. Coutinho potentially on the cards this January. Liverpool very much open right now to selling for the right price. And Rafinha, will he stay or will he go in January? That is the question. So as always guys, leave your thoughts on the day's news down below. I'm always interested to hear your opinions and your views. I will see you very shortly. Tomorrow that will be now for Celta against Barca. The match preview coming up for you tomorrow guys. I will see you then. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.